K-Rino Radio. Ha. K-Rino Radio. Ha. Ha. Let's tell them about it. You're listening to K-Rino Radio on 90.1. Who is he? What is he? What does he do? Where is he from? H-Town, where the independent grind was invented. Understand, I'm the property owner, you just a tenant. KPFT is the station and location for the really special guests. Good knowledge and information for the coldest on the air. We making a strong case. If you scared of the truth, then you in the wrong place. Every Friday, 11 o'clock p.m. Central. We cooking the game, serving it up, feeding your mental. You can even call in, dial 713, backdoor with 526 KPFT. We ain't playing with them, we gon' tell it like it is, partner. Out of town, KPFT.org, yeah, we got ya. How'd I get on the airways? I know y'all like, wow, K-Rino Radio, homie, starting right about now. Yeah, we got ya. How'd I get on the airways? I know y'all like, wow, K-Rino Radio, homie, starting right about now.
What's good, family? It's your big brother K-Rino, man, and right now, as it is the case every Wednesday night, y'all are tuned in to K-Rino Radio right here on KPFT. If y'all are listening, man, y'all doing y'all job, but make sure y'all hit somebody up and let them know to tune in to www.kpft.org, or if you're checking us out on the real regular radio, it's 90.1 FM, 89.5 in Galveston, man, and we are here on this Wednesday night. Ain't too hot, ain't too cold. It's a perfect night, and it's a perfect night to have the brother we got in the building with us tonight, man. It's an honor to have our brother. We want to formally introduce him. He's a man of many hats. If we really gave him the real introduction that he deserved, it'll take up the whole show. So I'm going to give y'all the short version, man. This man is, of course, the founder and the CEO of Rap-A-Lot Records. He is a pioneer, trailblazer in hip-hop and in business in general, man. He has been an inspiration to all of us who have come behind him and watched the model that he has set up, and we've tried to strive to do our best to match or duplicate it. He is an entrepreneur. He has set out in many business ventures, man, and one of the coolest, realest cats that I ever been around in the times I've been around and blessed to have been around my brother. The one and only Mr. J.PRINCE is in the building tonight, man. What's going on?
Yeah.
No question. How you feeling?
I appreciate that introduction, brother.
Right?
I mean, I love it. It's an honor and a privilege to be here tonight.
No, brother, the honor and the privilege is all ours, man. When you was talking out in the back in the lobby, and you was like, man, I've been trying to get here, but everything happens when it's meant to happen and in its proper time.
Perfect timing.
We appreciate you, man. I want to shout out to my co-host, man, my team, my crew, my staff that's always on the scene with us. The one and only Murder One South Park Coalition OG. What's up, Murder? Man, look, man, this is royalty, man. This is some Mount Rushmore action we got going on. And to my right, the cheetah, Miss Andrea Marias, is in the building holding it down.
Hola, buenas noches.
She's speaking Spanish tonight. And my brother holding it down from No Regret Media, always taking care of us on the camera work. Keisto is in the house. What up, Keisto?
Man, it's a monumental night tonight, man. I've been looking forward to this one.
Yeah, no doubt. We all have, man, and we're not going to waste no time because we only got an hour, and that hour goes by so fast, man. Especially when we got a brother this caliber. Jay, man, look, tell us about just your early days, it's growing up, before there was a Rap-A-Lot, before there was anything, man. What was life like? And we know you're from Fifth Ward, but what was that like coming up, and what kind of mindset did you carry that led you to wanting to do the things you're doing right now?
Yeah. Well, of course, I'm from Fifth Ward. I actually lived in Third Ward also. I went to Lockhart Elementary.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You didn't know that, right?
He said he think he went to Lockhart. It ain't been that long, Jay.
Yeah. But I from both of the best of those, both what you call the best of both of those worlds,
right.
The third and the fifth.
Right.
But my heart bleeds Fifth Ward. I've been there all my life. I was raised amongst the wolves,
right,
and ultimately became the leader of the pack.
Come on now.
But I was what I would call an average kid along with all the others. But it's certain things that even as a kid that like stood out with me that kind of let me know that I'm different. You know,
Like what? Like what? That's interesting. What what did you have in you that made you say I ain't like these cats?
my leadership skills.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Not allowing people to impress their wills on me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even as a kid, you know, I had a strong mind of things that, you know, I wouldn't let no one impose their will on me.
Right.
And of course, my hustle was relentless. Even as a kid, you know, I had this uncanny love for money.
Yeah.
And I figured out a way to keep my pockets full.
Yeah, no question.
What you did then?
They say you had a car dealership at a your early age.
Well, yeah, that was way before the car dealership.
Okay.
I had a lot of fun in the hood. You know, eventually, I did evolve, and yeah, I had a car dealership. I met this beautiful young lady, and her father was a car salesman. So I said, you know what, I need to figure out how to diversify my portfolio, and I became the #1 car salesman on Shepherd Street,
Right.
a car owner. I had the ugliest lot, but I made the biggest profit.
Right. Right.
And I knew that because the accountant down Shepherd, anybody know Shepherd Street, it's a lot of car dealerships, right?
Yeah.
And the accountant represented all of us, and she told me, she said, you made a bigger profit than anybody on this street. I said,
What
"You
year was
joking
this?
me?" This had to be in the 80s,
Oh, 80 what?
toward the end.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question, man. So
Ben.
what was the transition where you said what this music thing kicked in and you decided that you wanted to transfer into exploring that world?
Well, that everybody know me. I got this book I call Respect, the Art and Science of Respect.
No doubt.
And, you know, I'm going to go in depth a little bit, but if you really want to know the details of how it all evolved, it's in my book.
Right.
But
right.
the dream began with my brother. You know, my brother's name was Sir
No
Rap-A-Lot.
question.
And, you know, this was his dream to be a rapper. And my vision was to try and help him with his career, you know, keep him out of the streets, because I didn't feel like, you know, he was built for the streets. So, you know, one thing led to another. I was trying to lead him the direction that I thought was good for him, and ultimately he chose to do different things. You
Right.
know, we got him like a 20-year sentence.
Right.
So
Right.
old bro wanted to, you know what I mean, do something different, and there I was with the homies, 2 students, you know, at the time from 3rd Ward, Jukebox and Raheem.
Yeah. We had this a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah.
So, you know, I found myself keeping my word for them along with my brother, and just trying to create and build something for them more so than myself.
No question. And the thing is, man, it's like I remember that Wicked Cricket was the one who gave me the history on that. He was like, nah, man, Sir Rap-A-Lot was the rapper's name, Jay Brother, who he named the company after. So when did you kind of see, like, you know what, this thing could kind of be serious on a different level, even without my brother? When did that kind of spark in your head, like, we might could really do something? Because Houston, the game wasn't like it is now. We're in a different situation, so nobody knew it. All the trees were still up. They hadn't been chopped down yet.
True.
So what gave you the confidence in that environment at the time when nobody respected the South to say, we're going to bust this thing open and keep going?
Well, you know, I always been a man of faith. You know what I mean? I always believed the impossible could become possible.
Right.
And you know, it was through that faith that really, you know, controlled my whole movement, and you know, really brought everything to fruition. But you know, as you said, you know, back in those days, it wasn't nobody to you know, that had a track record that I could touch or
Right.
see or anything to even believe that it was really possible. So, you know, I give all honor to God where that's concerned.
No
Right.
question, no question, no question. Yeah, we are here with the one and only Mr. J.PRINCE, man. And if y'all would like to ask a question on Facebook Live, feel free. And if I see it, I'll make sure to transfer it over to him, man. I wanted to talk about Rap-A-Lot's roster. Because in the 90s, you know, you signed a couple of my homies. You signed Gangsta Nip, but you had, we know the Ghetto Boy, but you had Mello. You had Devin. You had
Trade.
Too Much Trouble. Who you say?
Trey Zero.
But that was late on.
Fifth Ward Boys.
But I'm talking about in
Juveniles.
the '90s, man. I mean, Rap-A-Lot had a roster that was could match anybody.
Yeah.
That roster could match anybody that come down. The Convicts and all those cats. What went into your thought process when you were determining what type of artist you wanted to sign to your label?
Well, back then I had the mindset of giving the whole Houston avenue and opportunity to, expose their talents because, back then I felt like, I didn't feel like I know we were being discriminated against like real strongly, and I didn't play, that turf game, north side, south side, none of that kind of business, all money was green to me and it was all good, so I didn't limitize my growth with stupidity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I wanted to. That was my goal, to open the doors up for the city to be heard.
Yeah, you know what's funny because you said that, and I think about the you put it on your Instagram, and I told a story about when I first met you, and I don't know if they don't know, I was trying to meet with Jay to get signed. I was 16, 17 years old, and I walked in there, and when Jukebox was out there, like, man, we used to go to war.
Right.
Yeah, we hated each other,
Wow.
and the first thing I said, Jay, hey man, I don't really mess with your boys like that, and Jay say, money my boys.
That's what's up.
Yeah, he was there. So it's like what he said, I could bear witness to it because that's having the foresight and the vision to not just restrict yourself to a neighborhood or area. If you're going to go into business, you're going into business for everybody.
And I like that impression you just did.
Yeah, I do a pretty good Jay. I can do, oh yeah. I do a pretty decent Jay, man. No question. Go ahead.
Before I got with Rick Rubin, we had went gold on our own.
Right.
So my thing was I wanted to figure out how to go platinum and,
Higher.
double platinum and all that, take it a little further. So, I reached out to Rick. He loved the Ghetto Boys, and it was through the relationship with Rick we decided to change the name, you know what I mean, because somebody else owned that GHETTO. So we like, okay, Ghetto Boys, that's us, that's ours, we own that. And which that eventually led to a situation where the guy by the name of David Geffen, that owned Geffen Records, he decided to discriminate against the Ghetto Boys for lyrical content that he was okaying with his rock and roll and all those other artists. They was much worse, and so they wouldn't put the Ghetto Boys out, which ultimately led to Rick Rubin whole label leaving Geffen and getting a huge $12 million deal with Warner Brothers, which we released that first album, the Ghetto Boys, and which ultimately I got creative and I said, well, Rick left there, now it's time for us to do something different as well. So we was able to expand and go another direction.
No question. We're here with the one and only J.PRINCE. It's real quick. I know Andrea got it, but what you saying reminded me of something because we grew up in that history, and when Grip It on That Other Level came out, y'all had an intro on there, and y'all was touching on it way back in the late '80s, and you had the skit on there where the guy was like, well, you give me 95% of your company and you take 5 and we'll have you rich in 10 years. It'll take a lifetime to do it by yourself.
Okay.
Now, this is 1989. It's crazy how those same principles are still applying because the same bloodsuckers that was in power then are still in power right now.
Yeah, well, that was a true story. That wasn't something that I made up. They flew me out. I forgot the name of the record label, but they flew me out and they was trying to put statistics before me and let me know what I was up against. And they actually showed me statistics on the independent labels that fell in the music industry,
Yeah.
which was high then and high today.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Right.
I asked him a simple question. I say, so you say 95% of the people fail? He said, yeah, I got happy. Yeah, 90-something%. Woo, woo. I said, well, I'm going to be in that 5.
Come on,
Okay.
man.
Thank you, but no thank you. I walked out of the office.
Oh, yeah, no question. And not a lot of people wouldn't have had the courage to do that. Go ahead, Andrew.
That's what I want to know. How important is it to know the business side of the industry?
I think it's very important, but I say it this way because I wasn't fully knowledgeable of it when I started. You know, I learned a lot through trial and error. So I don't think one allow themselves to not chase their dream because they're not fully equipped, but you want to get fully as equipped as possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? By the same token, don't allow it to be a crutch and keep you in bondage and say, oh, I can't do it because I don't know it. Because, you know, that was a mistake that I made for a bunch of years, feeling like I wasn't educated enough or I didn't have a degree to do certain things. And ultimately, you know, I figured out I was wiser than the people with the degree.
Right, no doubt, man. J.PRINCE is in the building, man. Y'all see it, man. You know, we might take a few calls tonight, but we trying to maximize all this time. The call-in number, somebody said, what's the call-in number? 713-526-5738 if y'all want to holler and talk to the OG himself, man, to get some game. One thing I noticed about you, bro, just over the years is that anybody that ever came to you that needed advice, that needed the game, you never, to my knowledge, you never hesitated to impart that knowledge on them. People like the Master P's and all those people that came after you that wanted to eventually do the same thing you did. What was it about you that made you say, man, I ain't got to try to hide the light from nobody, man. I want everybody to build if they can.
Well, I understand the principles of giving. I understand the principles too much is given, much is required.
Right.
You know, and I also understand the power that, you know, I was after back then by enlightening and trying to equip those brothers. You know, I was trying to, I wanted us to become a force of like the majors. You know what I mean? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I want to create a monster in every state. You know what I mean? Where we can support one another, complement what one another is doing, and therefore, you know, the journey would become a little more smoother and easier for us all to get rich.
Right.
No doubt.
Cause I was gonna say with what Kay, just piggybacking on what Kay just said, I think one of the things that just for me, just being born and raised in the city, that I really look to you, cause to me, people would say like, to me you remind me, you like right next to Farrakhan. I say that meaning this, like in the whole global thing of hip hop, it's only two people come to sit down when they got a distribution, like a difference with somebody or a beef with somebody. Usually they either gonna come to Louis Farrakhan or they gonna come to you because they know that you can handle this stuff. And you always been a person that I seen who was peace first. It's like I want to sit down at the table. It's nothing but love and peace here. I want to see you guys work together, and whatever we need to iron out, let's iron it out here, and let's move on peacefully. I've never seen anything besides that. So, you know, just
speak on that. Speak on that.
Yeah, and I know where you're coming from with that, because a lot of people, you know, have that misconstrued. You know, I get, you know, a lot of people accuse me of all kinds of things that's not of me. I never been a guy that abused my power. You know what I mean? I don't like it. I don't like bullies. You know what I mean? I don't even like those kind of people, so I wouldn't allow myself to become one of them. But, you know, by the same token, you know, I ain't no punk either. So sometimes, you know, when I wrote in a post the other day about like independent record labels, how the majors, you know, attack the independents and try to take everything that you build and you create, and then when you fight back for it, then, you know, you become this bad person.
Yeah, the bloodsuckers, man. The bloodsuckers.
That's part of what they accuse me of, because I fight back. You know, when I see one trying to take from me and the family and friends, you know, I don't know how to stand and just take that.
Well, go ahead.
That's how I feel about you when you walk into the room. Like, I hear that Italian music playing, that mafia Godfather, and we should be able to sit at the table and whatever work this
Yeah.
thing out.
But
Yeah.
Talk about
I
it.
think it had to be somebody had to fill into that role. Somebody had to step into that role. I've seen you be the mediator in a lot of situations among rappers. People who are just artists, not even on the level that you're on as a businessman. So
Yeah, and it speaks
that's
a
a
lot.
great point.
Yeah, it speaks a lot because they don't go to Russell Simmons, they don't go to Jay-Z, they don't go to Jermaine Dupri. They come strictly to you or Farrakhan because they know that you come with a heart made of gold and that you're gonna get some results done. That's
Let
what
me let me ask you this, because on that other note too, because I remember a time when you and I think Suge and Irv Gotti were trying to come together and put together something of a black-owned powerhouse
Yeah.
where the control would be in the hands of black people, and we could remove the control from those individuals who've been draining us all of these years. And right when that popped off,
Mm-hmm.
then the powers that be
Yeah.
started individually attacking all three of y'all.
Oh wow.
Not by coincidence.
Okay.
What has to happen now for wealthy black people to be able to come together and work under the same umbrella, or either connect with somebody that they trust and say, well, you can do this again, and not be deterred or discouraged, when them Jews and them folks try to come out there and shut it down.
Yeah, I think everything begin in the mind. You know what I mean? It have to become a vision. It have to become a dream. You know what I mean? In your heart, in your spirit, and when it's there and you fertilize it, then that they say is impossible become possible.
Right.
But it's all in the mind. It's all in the dreams. You know what I mean? If one never have that vision, have that dream, then it don't come to reality. I believe any and all things are possible.
No
Right.
question. That's the word vision, man. A lot of people don't have the ability to see what it is they want to be before they're actually there in reality.
I don't understand that.
But it's just about walking into it and believing in it, like you said, with faith. We got some calls. The phone lines lighting up, and we'll take a few, but we want to get as much time we can with the OG. But let's go ahead and take that first call right now. Who am I speaking with? Go ahead, caller. Who am I speaking with? Go, G. Do your thing and make it quick. We got a lot of calls on the line, but go ahead. You got a question or comment for J.PRINCE? Go ahead.
Mm.
Well, my advice for him is to quit that job. You know what I mean, or to do as much as possible to position himself to focus on his dream, on his craft. You know what I mean? You can't. It's hard to work 9 to 5 and do that and become a successful artist. So you have to make a sacrifice. You have to make a sacrifice for that you are really passionate about, that you really want. And sometimes, that means having a lifestyle that's real uncomfortable. Like myself, for example, a lot of people think, the success happened overnight, but I went 7 years of just grinding without a reward. So the music game is a game that'll run the week off.
Dang.
You have to make some sacrifices.
Man, come on, man. The music game is a game that'll run the week off. Everybody ain't built for this, man. No question. We go to the next call. We're going to keep it rolling. JB, that's your name? Hit it again, brother. Go ahead, JB. On to the next. We go on to the next. Go ahead. Caller, go ahead. Yes, sir.
Well, man, I wish I had that plan of action.
Right.
That's a open-ended type of question, but it's a lot of things that can be done. And I think what we're doing right now, we're talking some real talk to try and enlighten individuals on what to do. Now, if you want to call off the clock and be a little more direct, then maybe we can get into that.
Yeah. And look, and I'll be direct. You know, a lot of these Jewish record company owners that have no talent, and they take the talent of the talented ones, and they make money off of it, and they build legacies off of it to where their children and grandchildren are eating forever, and these artists around here broke and poor.
Sure.
So we got to take ownership of our art, even like what Jay said earlier, even if it makes you uncomfortable. And that's the problem. We scared to get out the comfort zone. And until we get out of that mentality, that slave-minded mentality, then we're going to always run to them to get a deal where they rape and pillage us, and we take the crumbs, and we'll be in the cycle forever.
Did you say rape?
So, they rape and pillage you, and and we take the crumbs. Go ahead, next caller. Go ahead, Il. I see you on the screen. Okay.
Right.
Thank you, family. Appreciate the love, yeah. Appreciate the love, man. No question, man. We here with the one and only J.PRINCE, man. As y'all can see, the city showing up and showing number love to the OG. Because a quick question for you: do you ever reflect and just think about your position in the history of not just rap, but just music, period? Because you have done things that a lot of people are not able to lay the claim that they've been able to do, and pioneering and trailblazing and basically building up a scene when there was no scene. Do you ever reflect on that and say, yeah, you know, I did pretty good?
Yeah.
I hope so.
You know, it's hard to not. You know, it's hard to not be blessed and show gratitude and be grateful of it. And then it's a transition that I feel taking place in my life. You know, that was a time it was all about my talent, you know, and exercising my talent and getting paid for my talent. Now I'm at a stage where I'm graduating to, you know, focus more on my purpose. You know, and that's a beautiful thing along the journey, to tune into your purpose, to enlighten and uplift. You know what I mean? Your fellow man.
Yeah, no question.
I want to know, kind of along with what some of the callers were asking, what advice would you give to artists who struggle still with the street life?
Wow, that's a good question.
I would first of all, you know, I wrote about that in my book. One of the hardest challenges.
The name of the book again is?
The Art and Science of Respect. One of the hardest challenges I had, you know, making the transition from the streets to corporate America was letting go of the street life. And that one is it's hard, but when you really put it on the scale, it's not hard. And you have to really put it on the scale. You know what I mean? You put the pros and the cons on the scale, and you're going to come back with a no-brainer, because you're going to come back with a big picture, longevity, you know, being a father, being a provider. You know, there's so many things that outweigh the reward that come from the street until, you know, it become a no-brainer. But you have to really write them down and look at them. You know what I mean? Write them down and look at them. And from there, you know, chase that big picture. Ain't nothing like it. You know, matter of fact, when I made the transition to the music game from the streets, I'm like, this is the new game. Dope
Yeah,
game.
Right.
So
No
a lot of people don't realize like how intelligent and how smart they are, and all you have to do is apply that same hustle that you apply in the streets.
So them same skills you can cross
Same
over.
thing. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, no doubt. Great question. And also too is there's something I was thinking about, and I'll be remiss if I don't mention this. My minister, Brother Abdul Halim Muhammad, Brother Robert Muhammad, you know as Robert Muhammad, he was talking about one time when Minister Farrakhan mentioned and said that one of our rap records will reach more people than thousands of his speeches. What do you view in terms of the importance of rappers these days growing and evolving into putting more of a message in their raps as opposed, 'cause we all start out, man, I done talk crazy on records, but sometimes when you understand the responsibility, you understand the responsibility, you be like, I can't keep saying that because somebody is gonna actually try to do what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What's your view on artists taking or not taking the responsibility to be more conscious in their lyrics?
Yeah, I think that's very important, and I think it's a process. You know what I mean? Even I began with me. You know what I mean? It was a process. When I was a child, I thought as a child.
Right.
Come on, man.
Childish things.
Come on, man.
But as I evolve, you know what I mean, and you tap into your purpose, which I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if the hip hop culture become the presidents and everything of the world in the future. You know what I mean? Because we are that important, we are that special, but we're gonna have to evolve and live out our purpose.
True.
Yeah, and give people time to grow. You see a lot of people,
That's
there's
key.
a smash
Give them
on
time to
the
grow.
new younger artists. I mean, this cat ain't but 18, 19 years old. You can't just destroy him for not having the wisdom of a grown man or that you may have.
True.
And if we remiss and we wrong if we don't try to pull him to the side and teach him. You can't slap nobody upside the head if you ain't never been taught.
I didn't get the ending too, but did you finish narrating the book in your own voice?
Yeah, I did. I mean,
oh, wow.
Just like I sound.
I don't think I heard that before. Have you heard of somebody doing that before?
A lot of audio books are done like that.
With your own voice?
We're really good.
That's
really
awesome.
Good. Really good.
Like you're having a conversation with you. Yeah.
How fun was that? Oh, he got the book. Can we see that?
And we're going to definitely go into that. That's the next phase, the art and science of respect.
Yeah.
What I wanted to ask you.
You can find it on Amazon, right?
What I wanted to ask you about the book, this because in the title you say the art and the science of respect.
Right.
The word that stood out to me was the word science. The word science represents to me it's like a formula. And so what is the science of respect? Because that breaks it down. That takes it to a whole nother level of reasoning and thought when people gotta use that word and process that.
Yeah. Well, the science is bringing those visions and like you say, the formula, the ingredients, bringing that to fruition to the extent where it become a real life thing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And that's observing the science in like its full capacity of beauty. You know what I mean? To see it actually come to fruition.
Right.
Like it's one thing to sit back and say I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
And you know what I mean, but it take a science to bring that to fruition. You know what I mean? It take ingredients to bake a cake.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the full picture of it, you know, is the picture of the science.
Let me ask you this on that same note, because in life, you said something there. You said something about trial and error, and that to me translates into experimentation. So that's also a form of science. Like when you're going through these situations, you unknowingly sometimes experimenting just by going through those life trials, and then the next go round, you got it all figured out. You know, you processing.
Yeah, that's true because you know, everything in life is a lot of people may call some things losses.
Right.
But it's actually a lesson.
Okay.
Come on,
you know what I mean? So when you really understand that, you don't have to be as hard on yourself because you didn't, you know, perfect or prosper in this area or whatnot. View it as a lesson.
Okay.
And then you pick up where you left off and go at it again.
Right. No question.
Jay, I got a question. Who is your mentor?
That's a hell of a question.
Okay.
Who's the one that you looked up to and said, okay, Is it your father? You
Right.
know, is it somebody that you just say, well, this guy is stand up. He shows love for the community, this and that and the third.
Yeah, I
You
definitely would have to begin with my mother and my father.
Okay.
You
No.
know what I mean? And God bless both of their souls right
Right.
now. But, you know, that's who, you know, my mother was that's where I got the whole inspiration to want to break the poverty curse in my family.
Yeah.
So that was, yeah, she was the ultimate when it comes to my inspiration. And also my father, you know, I began with them. And then, you know, along the journey, I tapped into a lot of great people that helped me, from listening to them, opening my eyes, books, different things like that. So,
You know, cause on that note, cause you know, I've been knowing you a long time, so I remember you before you was J.PRINCE. I remember James Smith.
yeah.
So that was in honor of your father, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's
It
strong.
was, you know, and that's important. You know, it's important. You know, like my mother raised me a single household, but sometimes we have to get them names straight once and for all. You know what I mean? Because I almost dated my sister.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? Because it's all mixed up,
Right.
So you know, I had to wear my name. You know, I'm a Prince.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I wear that with pride.
Okay.
Done deal. We're gonna take a couple more calls because they light it up, but we're gonna run through them real quick. Let's go ahead and take this next call. I see it's go ahead, let's hit it. One more time. Go ahead, hit it again, brother. Yeah. Okay, we'll come back to it. We're having some issues with the call. But one thing I wanted to ask you, because you didn't just stay in rap music, you ventured off into other things, in the boxing and all that. What sparked your interest in boxing and made that be the next big business move that you wanted to jump into?
Well, boxing was always my first love. You know, a lot of people don't know that. But I never had access to a gym in Fifth Ward because it wasn't one in the ward that I could get to. So, you know, I like vowed if I ever, you know, make it in life, you know, I want to build a gym, a boxing gym in Fifth Ward where everybody would have access to the fight world if they wanted to. So I was able to build a recreation center in Fifth Ward, which consists of a boxing gym, full court basketball facility.
What's
the name of it?
The Prince Complex.
Okay.
So after doing that and observing those fighters, the amateurs fighters, you know, I just got wired up all over again. I said, let me give me some of that boxing money.
Okay.
Did you have to start over in terms of learning that game too, the same way like you did with music? Because you jumped in on the promotion side, and when you look at it, you actually jumped in and was able to master what's, in my opinion, the two most crooked industries that's out.
Wow.
Music
real,
industry and boxing.
Which one the worst?
So how was you able to navigate through that, and did you have to start over and learn that game again?
Yeah, no, both of them, you know, as K-Rino say, they both are cutthroat businesses.
Okay.
But the music game had equipped me, you know what I mean, for the boxing world. You know, when I went in the boxing world, by then I understood the formula of success in any business, and all I needed to know and learn was the rules of the boxing game. I knew the ingredients to apply, you know, where the boxing game was concerned. So I was right at home.
Yeah. And then you jumping in with the Don Kings and the Bob Arums and all them cats like that, man. But I know you more than held your own among that. You know, that was not an issue. Yeah, that was not an issue, man. I got another question for you, real quick. Why is it now that the label game in Houston is not the same as it used to be? You know, you had the Rap-A-Lot, you had Big Time Jam Down, Shorts. It was popping. Why is it now that a lot of people kind of renegade doing it on their own, but you don't see the independent labels like we had back in our heyday?
Well, one of the things that, you know, I blew the horn on like years ago is when we had the spotlight in our city with, you know, Mike Jones,
and Paul, and
when it was really popping.
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel, and I wish those brothers would have exercise their work ethic a little stronger than they did. You
Okay.
know, a lot of them went into different businesses when the spotlight was on the city. And that's the wrong time.
They jumped out too quick.
Yeah, to be going, you know, clubs, grills, you know, you doing all this other stuff. That's the time to open the doors for new artists
Right.
and exercise your own work ethic, get your other album out. So I saw that spotlight lead the city.
Okay.
And, you know, it's hard bringing them spotlights back once they...
Yeah, man. Yeah. You look
think-
up. Go ahead.
I
Keep
said,
going.
when just thinking about that part, I think that's one of the classic Source albums of all time. I still have it.
Oh,
And
that
I was-
picture.
Yes, sir. When they came down to the ranch.
Yeah.
Man, I was supposed to
I
be.
told
I was
Kay,
supposed
I
to
said,
be
"What
there. No, something happened. One of your representatives reached out to me, but something happened, man. I ain't have a ride. I was stuck that day, man.
Aw.
But every time I see that picture and I see everybody, I say, man, I'm supposed to be in that picture, man. You
Yeah,
know,
that was a real historic
Yeah.
moment, man.
Yeah.
It was something that they said couldn't get done,
yeah,
you know, because they felt like a lot of people didn't like each other that was coming there.
yeah,
And we brought it together.
no question.
So I'm about to get a little personal.
Okay.
Okay, so I heard you was like a Motown baby.
A Motown. But
Something
I
like that.
take
You
that.
had,
I
like-
take that.
Can you tell me one of your favorites from back then?
Oh, Motown.
Yeah,
Oh,
and that-
Michael Jackson.
I was about to say
Okay.
Yeah, Michael Jackson. I mean, hands down, that was the.
What was your favorite song by him?
Ben.
Oh yeah, about the rat.
Ben. Oh
They
my
don't know
God.
about Ben.
I wasn't ready for that one.
Ben was about a rat, man. Ben was a bad man. Come on, man. Ben, you listen. You never heard
I wasn't ready
Ben?
for that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go
You'll
listen
start
to that on
crying.
my way home.
I
For
know
real.
you. You'll start
That's when
crying.
Papa Joe killed the
Oh, I
rat,
might
right?
not do that right now.
You'll
I may
cry.
go to-
Yeah,
okay.
He
I'm
wasn't
not
a
ready for
snitch
Ben.
rat. He was just a
He was
rat.
Yeah, no, you're not like a rat in the streets. Yeah, a real rat. You know,
Okay.
Mike loved animals, man.
Okay, I wasn't ready for that
Yeah,
answer.
oh, no, straight up, man. You know,
Wow.
did you ever meet Mike?
Nah.
Never met
no,
Mike. Never Mike. Okay,
No.
yeah. Somebody sent in a question on Facebook. I want to ask, but I had a question I had loaded up for you similar to that. I'm gonna ask his question first. He said, "Who were your top 5 top rappers of all time? If you could name 5."
Wow.
Yeah.
5. Okay.
Wow.
I just named 5.
Okay.
Scarface,
Mm.
Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z,
Okay.
Oh, we lost.
and
We lost. Yeah.
let me see. That was 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay, who would be number 5?
That's hard.
That's all.
I'm gonna
Dana
peep the game.
Okay.
They asked me the same question, Jay.
Yeah.
When I get to 4,
Yeah.
I always get stuck the same way.
Is that right?
It's hard to get to that 5th one
hard,
is
that
always
number
hard.
5, huh?
Well, let me
Right.
hit you with this one while you think on that, because this was my question. If you had to take 5 all-time rap-a-lot artists, they say, man, we got this situation, everybody bringing their best to the table. You got to bring your 5 best. What's the 5 you taking with you for the
Oh,
tournament?
he being messy.
Yeah, no, that's what I want to know.
Hard hitter.
Yeah, of all time.
I got to go back in my computer on
Yeah,
this.
Okay.
I know
Okay.
face going. I know
Okay.
face
gonna
going.
go.
Okay, here's what I do. The 5.
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna have to put Pimp C on that number 5.
There you
Yeah.
No doubt.
Okay,
No doubt.
but okay, I would take Face,
Okay.
Willie D,
Oh,
Bun B, Pimp C,
Oh yeah.
and who would be number 5?
That
I
5,
see.
man, you get to that 4.
I know what I got in my
man.
mind, bro. Let's see.
5
Yeah.
is something.
Every
man.
time.
Number 5.
Let me throw some names in.
Devin the
Just,
dude.
you know, you
Devin
got
the
Mello.
We got
You
Mello.
got Devin.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't mind having Devin with me.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
Yeah,
No
they're
doubt.
gonna make us laugh.
That's hard, man. Them lists, man. Them lists get you in trouble, man. We'll take a couple of more calls. We got them low. Let's see if we can get the calls back popping again. Go ahead, Jay Reed. Who is this? Jay Reed? No, we can't. It ain't lighting up, murder.
I got a little bit.
Okay. But while we work on the phone lines, okay, go ahead, Alex. I see you. Go ahead, Alex. Try to get another phone. We got a lot of people online. We're gonna try to get it to many as y'all as we can. Okay. But we'll keep it moving until we get it straight. We have some difficulty. Let me ask you this, because this is the question I really wanted to ask. Have you ever been approached about somebody doing a movie about you?
Oh.
Has that ever happened? We're gonna make this
Oh, that'd be
J.PRINCE
nice.
movie.
Oh yeah, most definitely. That's actually in the works.
Oh.
What we're gonna do is a documentary first,
Right.
and then we we headed that direction with actually a producer that's here from Houston that done the Black Klansman movie.
Yeah.
What Now? So he's a lot of people don't know about him, but real prominent.
That's gonna be interesting, man, because I can see them
Yes.
chronicling you from different phases of
Wow.
your life. So they would probably need about at least 3 actors. They would probably have to go from childhood all the way up to, you know, at least about 3 people all the way up until now. You know what I'm saying? So that'd be interesting to see a J.PRINCE movie. Hook that up for me. But also, what do you think, man, has to happen to get Houston back to a point of prominence, man, where we was at one time once before? No, that ain't right. Gotta hook it up.
A lot of hard work and unity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unite the power. What I witnessed with a lot of modern day artists is they separate the power versus uniting the power. You know,
Okay.
everybody is playing that selfish game.
Right.
You know, that ain't how I put the city on the map.
Right.
So
Right.
the power need to be united. Use all the power together to get to the promised land.
What's going on with Rap A Lot now? Do you ever have plans of cranking up the music side again?
Well, I mean, I have some sons that's their job.
Right, I
You know
got
what I
you.
mean, they I'm in the Hall of Fame. I'm
Yeah.
kind of you know what I mean, having fun. But yeah, they a lot of them are active doing things.
Right, yeah. Your son, he's the one that dug Drake out, that got Drake popping. You know what I'm saying? So that was interesting. How did you feel? Was you proud of him when he was able to come to you and basically say, man, I got this artist, and now this guy is like one of the biggest artists in the world?
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. That was.
Did you see it coming?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it either.
Yeah,
Other
yeah.
than I not see it, I didn't even hear it when he played it for me.
Yeah,
So,
wow.
You know what I mean? I had missed that one, but you know, he got it, and that's what was important. And most of all, he got the lesson that was taught to him as a kid in the Rap A Lot building,
Yeah.
on the importance of a buzz.
Right.
So he got that, and it was from getting that he was able to recognize Drake
Right.
and brought him to the table.
And those generations, because like you said, you didn't hear it, but him being in that younger generation, because we hear the stuff that's out there, and we like, you know, but it's good to have that next generation that can say, well, nah, hold on, pops. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, this dude gonna pop out. Yeah, for sure. We are here with the one and only Mr. J.PRINCE, man. We trying to get y'all calls, but we having some situations with the phones, but it is. But we straight now. What do that feel like to be an inspiration to people you never met, don't even know? And because I'm
That's a
sure
lot
you
of
have
young
people come up to you all the time that saw you and was motivated
Yeah.
by your grind, and now they trying to duplicate that.
You know, that's a beautiful feeling. You know what I mean? It's a lot of times people don't you know, understand those that make it to the top. You know, that we need to be inspired as well.
Right.
You know
Come
what I
on,
mean?
man.
And when I see the fruits of my labor, you know, inspiring a brother or sister to want to go hard, then I'm inspired all over again.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? It's like rejuvenating. So yeah, I love seeing that.
He said we need to be inspired too. That's deep.
Oh, yeah.
That's deeper than what y'all might have caught on to, because no matter what levels of success that you have reached, you still reaching for something to drive and give you more determination, man. That's energy feeding off of
Feeding into,
energy,
yeah.
man. No question. That's dope, man. Go ahead, Andrew.
What would you, if you wasn't in this industry, in the boxing, no music, none of that.
If rap never existed,
it wouldn't even heal. What would
Right.
you be
People
doing?
giving lions haircuts.
Well, if it wasn't for boxing and music, what I would be doing?
Yes.
I would be a millionaire.
Okay.
then something, huh?
Yeah, I just that was the goal.
Already,
You know what I
okay.
mean? Just to become a millionaire and break the poverty curse.
Man.
That to me, that was by any means.
Is that in the
necessary.
book? Do you have a chapter on breaking the poverty curse?
Yeah, you got
It is?
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
okay.
It's a cold book.
Okay.
I got a question too. Is they going? Is it in works for the Rap A Lot biopic, or when we gonna get there? Because I think the book was like the start But I think that visual would knock it out the
Yeah.
park. Yeah.
Yeah, we asked about a J.PRINCE
Yeah.
movie when we started, but but Rap a Lot, that'll be a hell of a story too.
Yeah, the story is actually too long for a movie.
Okay.
So
we
we
need to
have
see
to.
it.
It could be a series,
I think that's
Netflix.
even better.
We'll watch it.
Yeah.
No
Binge
question.
watch it.
Man, beautiful, man. Another question I got to ask, because you've enjoyed so much success. Basically, to my knowledge, everything you set out to do, you accomplished it. Two-part question. Has there ever been anything you set out to do that you didn't accomplish, that you said, man, that didn't work out? And number two, if it was something that you could go back and do differently, if at all, what would it be?
Sorry, K-Rino.
Well,
Take that demo.
Just like
I
that.
mean, I definitely wasn't successful at everything I tried to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a trial and error along the way that really equipped me to be able to, get to that success. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want nobody to think it's a perfect journey. You know
Okay.
what I
And did
mean?
spirituality tie into that somehow?
Oh, most definitely. The faith kept me going. That fueled my tank.
Okay.
But if it was anything, I always say this, if it was anything that I can change, and I don't have a lot that, I would want to change. But one thing always come to my mind that I would if I could. And it's a friend of mine by the name of NC. I got him out of the back of a police car. And he left in my van and got killed.
Oh,
You
yeah.
And it's a hell of a thing to say that you wouldn't have got a man out the back of the police car, but it meant for him to live.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's strong.
Yeah.
I think also too, people. The reason why I asked you the first part of that question, because I think that people get inspiration from knowing that even somebody who made it to that degree of success have had roadblocks in the road too.
Yeah.
And because they may be going through them roadblocks now and on the verge of giving up, we'll say, well, he had a rough road too, but look at him now. And that could be the motivating factor that drive them to get over that hump and not quit. Because I hate when people quit. I hate when people are doing music or whatever it is they doing, and then you run into them 6-7 months later and they not doing it no more because it beat them down.
Yeah.
So that's one of the most disappointing things to me, man. We're going to try to get Jay Reed real quick, man. We've been trying to get him all night. We're going to fix it. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate the call, man. Real quick, we'll touch on that because you hear people say Atlanta. I don't 100% buy into the concept of that Houston don't stick together. I'm sure that it's elements of that are true, but I seen this thing from day one. I seen how Rap a Lot moved. I saw how other labels moved, and other than a few minor little beefs, it ain't never just been nothing out of control that happened between the artists in Houston, and a lot of them have worked together. Do you take that in? Do you look at it like that, or you feel like it could have been better, or how you look at for as unification in Houston among the artists?
Yeah, I think it can be better. Like
Yes.
I'm a dude that believe in merging power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I understand that when you merge that power, I understand the reward from merging the power. And I think where Houston is concerned, for example, if you have an artist that's hot and blazing in Houston, to come back or to reach out and show love or feature or whatever with other artists in Houston is how things get to bubbling and really take off.
Right.
But when you have those that, blaze and don't reach back and show no love to, the artists in Houston, then okay, that's like that water, that stagnant water.
Right.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You don't open up that flow. So
What you think about the radio out here? I'm known as a enemy to the commercial
There you
radio.
go.
Yeah, so I gotta ask the OG, what's your views on commercial radio and how they treat the locals out here?
radio has been one of the biggest enemies of Houston coming together.
Oh, it been like that.
So I ain't crazy.
Yeah,
All right,
no.
okay, all right, that's
No,
what's up.
most
All right,
definitely.
That's what's
It been
up.
like that.
I fought hard to get radio to participate even with us, during my era, and
Right.
Wow.
totally fell off.
Right.
Even in the 80s and the 90s?
No, I mean, especially
Way back when? Oh.
Yeah, especially then.
it was
in the
harder
book?
then because
Oh, yeah.
it was no it was no scene back then, you know.
But back then, it was New Yorkers manipulating, regulating the radio station, playing their own.
Right, no question,
You have
no
to read
question.
the history
Man.
of that.
The great J.PRINCE, man, we've been well fed. We got about 2 minutes, y'all, and we're gonna let Andrea do the prison shout out. Shout out to everybody that's on lock that's listening to us right now.
Yep. Steven Sandblom got your letter out from Darrington. And also, real quick, I want to send a shout out to my daughter, Hadia Maria. Mommy, love you.
Already, you know, we get family love. That's
Yes.
what we do on K-Rino Radio.
What's up to all those homies on lockdown?
No question.
Y'all know how I
Yes.
feel about y'all.
And they listen religiously, Jay. So
Yeah, they do. We get
I know
letters
they
all the
being
time.
well inspired.
You got a
My
message?
brothers. They're my
What would you
brothers.
give? What would you say?
It's honor and love.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Keep it moving.
Yeah.
I seen not too long ago you was out there with the prison. What's the one where they having that real
Mississippi.
in Mississippi? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Can you speak about what you did while you was out there and the effect that it had on there? Is anything transpiring from that?
Yeah. You know, myself along with Jay-Z, Yo Gotti, you know what I mean? We came together and, you know, done a lot of lawsuits and just organized that whole protest and everything to stand up for those brothers because, you know, as many people saw with their own eyes, the abuse and different things that happened behind those closed doors. You know, you got undercover Ku Klux Klan.
What prison was that?
Mississippi.
Yeah, all of them out there.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, I call them undercover Ku Klux Klansmen that's running them.
Right.
And,
That's what they are.
Yeah, they were doing some terrible things, and
Dirty,
since
dirty.
then, yeah, things is changing.
It's changing.
You know. Yeah.
Okay.
But J.PRINCE is in the building, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I appreciate you so much, brother.
Thank you for that.
The Art and Science of Respect.
Yeah.
Y'all make sure y'all get this book. If you are one of them soft, tender-hearted cats that can't seem to get your thing together, man, read this book and you might grow your set of testicles and
You
it
say
might improve.
tender-hearted.
It's going to improve you in some form. Sometimes, you
For
know,
real.
sometimes some had to be injected into you to
True.
inject manhood and womanhood into you, and you get inspiration from somebody who's been there and done that.
And you can get the audio too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially in this time where they call it toxic masculinity.
Come on,
Yeah.
man.
Man, the icon of masculinity of showing you how to respect your family, build up your sons, your
All
daughters, your community.
Yes.
It's right here in the
And
man.
make something out of nothing.
and make something out of nothing, and don't forget your friends.
No question.
Trying to
J.PRINCE,
make
thank you,
something.
brother.
Appreciate you.
Godfather.
Man. Big Chief, the OG.
Yeah.
Shout out, man. We'll catch y'all next Wednesday, man. We got our next Wednesday guest. They in the house right now. You know, I'm glad they could sit in.
Okay.
You know, we got the G boys in the building, man. But we'll catch y'all next week, man. One love. Peace and love.
Already.